Well, it actually happened. And for the first time in over a decade, a #1 seed has fallen to an 8 seed in dramatic and quite frankly unbelievable fashion. Let's try to unpack the Miami Heat's stunning and improbable win over the Milwaukee Bucks and examine why it is quite frankly the craziest upset in NBA history. Yo, what's up guys, and welcome into the channel. If you like the video, please click that subscribe button below. Now let's get into it. And we have seen 8 seeds beat ones in the past, but we have never seen anything quite like this. Just take last night's game, for example. An absolute stunning choke job for the ages, as the Bucks were up 16 points in the fourth quarter at home. And speaking of choking, someone needs to perform immediate rescue breathing on Bucks head coach Mike Budenholzer, as the lion's share of blame can be attributed to him. With the Bucks clinging to a 2-point lead in this game at the end of regulation with 2 seconds left, this happened. Which, firstly, look at that preposterous shot by Butler to tie this game. But take a closer look at this possession. Is that Giannis guarding the inbound play? I'm not crazy about having any player defending the inbound in this situation, and would instead rather have 5 players devoted to defending 4 players. But why Giannis? He's a recent Defensive Player of the Year winner who had the #2 net defensive rating this season. Maybe feel free to have your 6'10" freak athlete and best defender on the planet defending Jimmy Butler rather than, well, no one on this play. You know, Jimmy Butler. The guy who just cooked you for 56 points the night before and another 42 in this game. But wait, there's more. In the final possession of overtime, Mike Budenholzer struck yet again. With the Bucks trailing by 2 points, Giannis rebounded this Gabe Vincent missed 3-point shot with roughly 10 seconds left in the game. Feel free to take a timeout here, Mike. Maybe draw something up, or just go ahead and go with whatever the hell this was. Grayson Allen dribbling the clock out with the season on the line. But how the hell did we get to this point? For starters, the Milwaukee Bucks shouldn't have even been playing the Miami Heat, as the Heat were actually slated as the #7 seed at the end of the regular season. And they should have been matched up against the Boston Celtics in the first round of these playoffs. However, in the play-in game, which was, just like 2.5 weeks ago, by the way, the Heat lost to the Atlanta Hawks by a score of 116 to 105. In that game, the Heat shot 43% from the field, 32% from 3, and Jimmy Butler scored 21 points on 6 of 19 shooting, which is roughly 32%. All of that pretty par for the course, as the Heat shot only 46% from the field for the season, which was 5th worst in the NBA for the regular season. They shot just 34% from 3, which was 4th worst in the NBA, and they averaged only 109 points per game, which made them the lowest scoring team in the NBA this season. 2 days later, in the second play-in game, facing total elimination from the playoffs altogether, the Heat were actually trailing the Chicago Bulls 90 to 89 with 2 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Heat were that close to not even making the playoffs in the first place. Enter their opponent, the Milwaukee Bucks, the #1 seed in the NBA playoffs this year. The team with the best record in the sport, who came in with unfinished business from a year ago, as they lost a tightly fought series against the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals in a 7th game in Boston Garden. However, Chris Middleton did not play a single game in that series and missed the majority of the entire playoff run last year. The season prior to that, when the Bucks had a fully healthy squad, they won the NBA championship. This entire regular season was spent gearing up to right the wrongs from a year ago, and the Bucks seemed poised to make a deep playoff run. But just as the Bucks were undone with an injury a year ago, so too did they catch a bad break this season when early into Game 1 against the Heat, Giannis took a nasty fall, injuring his lower back. he would not be able to return for that game and would ultimately be forced to miss the first 3 games of this series with that ailing lower back. The injury to Giannis has to be factored in, but it doesn't tell the entire story. And in fact, Giannis did return to play in the final 2 games of this series, albeit not at full health, but he played 2 great games, turning in a 26, 13, and 10 triple-double in Game 4 and 38 points and 20 rebounds on 14 of 27 shooting from the field in Game 5. Both Bucks losses, by the way. But the real story behind this series is the unprecedented play of the Miami Heat coming literally out of nowhere. Even when Giannis went down, there was little reason for concern, as Tyler Herro also got hurt in that same Game 1 and never returned. Herro was the Miami Heat's second best offensive player this season and actually averaged only 2 points fewer than Butler did during the regular season. Surely a team as limited as the Miami Heat were offensively, as, again, they were the lowest scoring team in the NBA this year and shot the 5th worst percentage from the field, couldn't possibly overcome the loss of its second best offensive player, especially against an elite Bucks defense. Even without Giannis, the Bucks still boasted a duo of probable All-NBA first-team defensive members this year in Brook Lopez and Drew Holiday. The duo, along with Giannis, all finished top 7 in Defensive Player of the Year voting, and the Bucks overall were the 4th-rated net defense this season. So, what the hell exactly happened in this series? The Heat averaged 124 points per game and are now the highest scoring team in the playoffs at this point, up from the lowest scoring team in the regular season. Even more insane than their scoring was their shooting for this series. For the 5-game series, the Heat shot 52% from the field. I wanted to figure out here how to add some context to that. And in order to do so, I reviewed the playoff runs for the greatest single-season teams in NBA history. This included the 85-86 Celtics, the 86-87 Lakers, the 95-96 Bulls, the 71-72 Lakers, the 73-win Warriors, and both Kevin Durant Warrior teams in 2017 and 2018. Every one of these teams won at least 60 games, except the 2018 Warriors, who won only 58. And every one of these teams won the championship except the 73-win Warriors, who lost in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. 7 teams in all who played a total of 28 playoff series. Of those 28 series, only twice did a team shoot higher than the Heat did in this series. The 86-87 Lakers did it once, and the 2017 Warriors did it once. In those 2 series, the Lakers averaged 122 points, and the Warriors averaged 124. Pretty similar to the Heat in this one. So in essence, the Miami Heat just played an absolutely historic series against a team that won a championship 2 years ago and lost in Game 7 of the conference finals last year, missing their second best player. And they did all of this coming out of the 8th seed in their conference while missing their second best offensive player. To make it all possible, playoff Jimmy was up to his old tricks, averaging 37 points per game on 60% shooting in this series. I don't really want to get too far into the weeds on this one, but suffice it to say, Michael Jordan played 37 career playoff series, and LeBron James, to date, has played in 43. In those 80 series, the two of them have combined for exactly 1 total series, scoring at least 35 points per game on at least 60% shooting from the field. It was Jordan in the 1992 Eastern Conference first round, where he only played 3 games. This was an absolutely gut-wrenching loss for the Bucks, who likely still aren't entirely over the way last season played out. It leaves Milwaukee facing some unsettling questions in the offseason about fit and roster construction for the playoffs. They also have an aging core, as Drew Holiday will be 33 next season, Chris Middleton will be 32, and Brook Lopez will be 35. Wherever the Bucks go from here, likely they, nor us, will forget this absurd, crazy series anytime soon.